But nowadays and so, I am all shocked to know.
Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. And as you can see there, we are getting inside the conversation with the TTPS. Joining us this morning, Inspector Michelle Lewis. Welcome back, Inspector.
Good morning. Thank you for having us here, and good morning to all your listeners and your viewers as well on TTT Now and on the World Wide Web.
How are you doing?
I am good.
How is the carnival shaping up?
It's shaping up very good. I know just before we were chatting about the panorama and the presence of the police there, the show of force. And we had air support, of course, and all the other different departments within the organization. And, of course, the support from the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. And generally speaking, and we did some of the driving under the influence of drink and drug also. So we got some of that for persons who are, partying. And, So the officers were very much active over the carnival, over the weekend.
Yeah, and I imagine as we get closer and closer to the carnival, there'll be more of those showings of especially DUI and that sort of thing to make sure we are as safe as possible. All right, so can we get into some individual safety this morning?
Yes, well, actually, this morning we were actually going to be looking at, because it also touches on safety, and that is with the pepper spray.
Right.
So the pepper spray, as we know, is a non-lethal weapon. It falls under the Firearms Act 1601, but the Act was amended in 2021, and so it became legal for the use of pepper spray in Trinidad and Tobago. So from July 2022, we had the opening of persons for use and importers. And then in December 2022, we had for personal use.
Okay.
And within that period, we have seen 593 applications for permits.
All right, so just to be clear, when you say it's available for use, you have to apply to be able to you have to apply for the opportunity to purchase pepper spray.
Pepper spray.
Yes, yeah. So there is the import,
All right.
there is the retailer, and then there's the personal use.
Right.
All of which you would apply via the TTPS online our website, TTPS website, right? So ttps.gov.tt. So there are 3 categories of applications.
Okay, interesting. So I'm just going to drive straight into this portion of the conversation. We talk about pepper spray. Let's be real. We all make pepper sauce at home. People are very creative when it comes to how they're going to protect themselves. You see things being shared via WhatsApp all the time, these forwards of what you should carry with you as a woman, whether it's hairspray, some sort of other noxious substance. So what happens if somebody takes it upon themselves to take their own little pepper spray, make their own little pepper spray, make their own little pepper sauce from home, make it extra, put some extra scorpion and throw it in, something happens, somebody comes and attacks you and you spray them with that.
Okay, so according to the Act, the pepper spray is an inflammatory agent which, when applied to the body of an individual, may cause mucous membranes in the eye, nose, throat, lungs, and of the individual to become inflamed, resulting in immediate closing of the eyes, difficulty breathing, runny nose, and coughing. This could last between 15 and 45 minutes, sufficient time for the person to leave. Now, when I look at the components of the pepper spray, it does not have anything in relation to scorpion pepper. So persons who will want to do their personal concoction.
You went to law school.
Well, I am guided by the Act.
Inspector went to law school.
She's guided by the Act.
I'm guided by the Act. So persons who do their personal concoction, it wouldn't fall under the definition of what is a pepper spray.
It also may not be as effective.
I mean,
We don't know. This is
Agreed.
tried, tested, and proven.
Yes, it is. And it, like I said, it will give you sufficient time if you are in a situation that will put your life at risk, that you're able to defend yourself. So it's really a defensive weapon for which you have to have a permit to use, right? So within the law that was amended, someone who is 16 years old can carry it, 17 years old can carry it, of course, with the permission, because their parent would have had to apply for it.
For them. So the minimum age is 16.
Yes, the minimum age to have it. The application minimum age is 18.
Okay. But if I am over 18, as a parent, I can apply for it for my child who is 16 and older.
Yes, correct.
And then does my child have to walk with some sort of permit or something? Like, what happens then?
So the child will have the permit, and and also if the child uses it contrary to the use of it, meaning not for self-defense, the child can be charged. So it's also a conversation that you'll have to have with the child of the responsibility of having that prohibited item. Because
so even though it's non-lethal, you still have to be as responsible with it as you would with a lethal weapon.
Correct. And if you lost the permit, so you will have a permit to go with it.
Right.
That you will have on your person as if you have a personal firearm.
Right.
And so if you lost that permit that carries the pepper spray, you must report that to the TTPS as soon as you realize that it is lost within 24 hours.
Inspector, what are the requirements to get this permit?
All right, so of course, over 18, someone who has not been charged for any offense such as, or convicted, I should say, in relation to murder, treason, larceny, robbery, domestic violence, and that kind of thing. So there's a category of persons who will not qualify. Outside of that, anybody else can qualify. So it is not like where, for example, somebody applying for a firearm, which is lethal, it has stronger qualifications, right?
You have to prove why you need this.
Yeah, you have to prove it. For this is simply for your personal protection, non-lethal, and so anybody, you don't have to be working, you don't have to have a business, you don't have to have, certain, you just have to not fall in certain criteria.
You just have to not be a criminal.
Basically.
So no criminal record.
And domestic violence matters.
That makes you a criminal too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
So you've discussed, of course, the firearm being a lethal weapon, but you've also mentioned this is a prohibited weapon. So let's talk about prohibition particularly. What factors are taken into consideration, or what is a prohibited weapon?
So a prohibited weapon is one for which you would require permission, or authority to have and to hold and to have in your possession. So, for example, even though this is non-lethal, it's still prohibited by law, which means that you just cannot go and buy it at any store and just have it in your possession. So that causes it to be prohibited. For example, hunting during the hunting season for wild meat. There's a season for it, and outside of that, it becomes
prohibited.
Yeah, just to give a simple example.
Interesting.
So the application for a pepper spray permit will take between 4 and 6 weeks for the application process to go through.
How much does it cost to apply?
You don't have to. You just simply pay for the certificate of character in relation to thing, and yeah. But to have.
Can we talk about that certificate of character?
Yeah,
because
sure.
it takes how long does it take to get? How long is it supposed to take to get a certificate?
It will take about 2 weeks. But we have known in the past that sometimes if the system itself is down for whatever reason, it will impact the duration that in which you will receive your certificate of character.
3 months.
And that is probably a problem. So what could happen is a couple of
problem.
Now, if somebody applies for certificate of character, you will be before the court for matter. And there's an extract for which you have to obtain in order to have an accurate reading on your certificate of character, because if you are charged for a matter but it is still pending, it will be reflected on the certificate of character. If you were charged for a matter and the matter was dismissed, or it was discharged, or however it was dealt with by the court, it has to be updated from the extract from the court. So it's only that information from the court can clear whatever is on the certificate of character, and that sometimes can take a period of time.
Why?
Well, the system now with the court is that you have to do it online, and it takes a period of time.
Online?
Yeah, to apply now for the extract from the court, there's an email address through the court, to the court, something.
You would apply.
And you would apply.
So you would send an email and wait for a response from another human. It's not an immediate, automatic online application.
No.
And deal with the process.
They would send you an email saying that they acknowledge your application. They would send you the form, you fill it out, you do the needful, and you wait for the process to take its
Okay, so Inspector, guide us on this, because in some things we see, depending on what you're applying for, if you do apply for a certificate of good character, some will say it's sufficient that you have the receipt.
Yes.
And you can move forward. Is it the same thing in this case, or do you need to wait?
Okay. You need to get the receipt showing that. Now, in some places for employment, they would accept that in the meantime. But that is just to say that you have applied for it.
Right.
It does not give you the result of it. So in the case of this, we need the actual completion of the process, the certificate of character, and not the receipt.
And what has application been like for these thus far?
Well, we have about, so far, from the 17th of January, since 2022 when it started, we had 593 applications. So to obtain for personal use, it's just $100 to get a pepper spray canister.
as in the cost of the actual canister. And do we have any idea as to how much of it has been used?
No.
Okay.
It is valid for 3 years. When you
So
do
every
have
3 years you have to come and renew.
Yeah. So the canister itself would have an expiration date.
Right.
And so if it is that it is not used or it is expired, then you can apply for another one.
So when you do this application, it's for one canister, so you can't
Correct.
go and stock up or anything like that.
No, you can't. It's for one can. What you want all this canisters?
I mean, no, let's be fair. Life happens.
He just plans to use pepper spray at will.
You know, when
You
it
never know what
finishes,
happen.
you can get
have one in the
another.
cupboard and
Mom,
you
this
just...
is the pepper spray for doubles and thing, you know. This is pepper spray.
This is not scorpion pepper
What's
spray.
going on
Just
with
saying,
you?
I
right?
mean, no, these are questions to ask, man. Because, I mean, so how long, let's say, so after the application takes place, right, and you get through, how long does it take you to actually get the physical?
So, once you have the application, once you have been
Once you're given the permit.
granted it, you can go and buy it right away, $100 for the canister.
And there are authorized dealers that you
Yeah,
go
there
to?
are actually 4 authorized dealers that we have recorded. Amalgamated is one, AE Tactical is another, MH Tactical is another, and there is one more. So these are already recognized distributors in Trinidad and Tobago.
So how do you treat
And
with
then
those
Code
who,
Red Security is another.
So how do you treat with those who may have illegal pepper spray?
Right, so it is so if it is that you possess an illegal pepper spray one, or if it is the pepper spray belongs to you, but I have it in my possession and I am not the holder, then you can be charged and convicted of it.
Okay.
Which is a simple strict
I was
liability.
going to ask. So what?
Yeah, it's a strict. It's like being on the priority bus without a priority bus
Okay.
pass, unless you can prove that. So if you are in possession of a pepper spray, and you don't have the permission for it, it's almost
Same thing as having a gun that you don't have permission
Yeah.
for.
correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you said that you lost it or just lost, and then our records will reflect that you do in fact have one, right? But if you never had one, it's
As in the permit. If
As
you
in the
just lost the
permit.
permit, but you
Correct, but you have the pepper spray in your possession.
Okay. And you
Yeah.
all have a digital copy of these records, or do we have to go to a book somewhere to find out if my
Well,
record
the
was...
firearms permit unit, they have all the records of everyone that has something, and then
No,
within the
I
divisions.
asking because if it is let me say I get pulled over in a roadblock or something like that, right? And you happen to see my pepper spray there, and you ask someone to permit, and I come from a fet and I say, oh gosh, I lost it in the fet. Are you able then, the officer in question, are they able to then call the firearms unit or message or whatever the case is and check it?
No.
Or do I have to get locked up until it's time for them to get it back?
Okay, so for example, when you have a firearm, the station where you live has a listing of all the persons who has firearms.
Okay.
And because that weapon falls under the same firearm act, it's the
It
same
should be
procedure.
registered in the station.
So
as
whatever,
well.
you might be living somewhere else now, but wherever your firearms address is, that is where they would also have a record further to the firearm section.
Okay, nice.
All right, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Inspector, thank you so much for the clarification this morning on the pepper spray. This is something we all need to pay attention to, of course. And thank you so much.
apply. Persons can apply.
There
We
you
want
go.
to
You see?
encourage persons to
Keep
apply
yourself safe.
Keep yourself safe
and has
apply.
it as an option to use.
There you go. Thank you so much, Inspector Michelle
Thanks
Lewis. It's
for
a
being
pleasure
here.
to have you every morning.
Yes, it is.
Next week, Monday.
Next Monday, God's
All right.
And then
Inspect-
after is Carnival Monday.
And also the senior
after
carnival
that's-
Monday too.
On the road.
I'm looking for you on the road,
On
Inspector.
the road. All right.
Full uniform.
Full uniform.
Full
eh?
uniform.
Nice.
A slight smile or no smile at all.
I'll be smiling.
Wonderful.
Inspector could not
Inspector
smile.
could
She
not
happy,
smile.
man.
Agreed. Thank you so much, Inspector Michelle Lewis, and thank you so much, of course, for staying tuned to the Now Morning Show. Stay tuned. Your birthdays are coming up right after these messages.
Boom, boom.